Senator Conway, you have 6 minutes.
And I'd like to welcome Minister Sherlock to the House. I'm trying to remember when he was here last, but when he does come, he makes very, very useful contributions. And I know well that even though he's the Minister for Innovation and Technology, and that's extremely important, he would also realise full well the importance of history, because as a nation and as a people, we don't know who we are unless we know where we came from, and unless we know the background of where we came from and what our history is. As a nation, we have a phenomenal history going back centuries, I suppose, but when you look at our democracy, it's a very short history. Sometimes it can be a very blinkered history, depending on who the teacher is. Sometimes it can be a very thwarted history, depending on who is delivering the lessons. A lot of the time, it wouldn't have been a very fair history. It certainly would have broken down depending on what the viewpoint of the teacher was when it came to the Civil War. And that is a criticism on both sides. But I think, and I am very confident that in recent history, the teaching of history has been very fair and has been very balanced. Unfortunately, not enough of children are taking history, or certainly aren't taking history seriously. It is the world of Facebook and Twitter and emails and the internet and what's this other thing they call it, Ask FM and all these things. And that's all very important, but history is extremely important as well. I totally subscribe to the principle of not making anything compulsory. If I had my way, there'd be nothing compulsory, because learning should be a love. What we need to do is engender and foster and develop a culture of the love of learning. I spoke to kids who were going to school this year, and I was talking to them, were you looking forward to it? And they all seemed to be. No, good God, I don't know what was wrong on my day, but I certainly didn't look forward to going back to school after the summer holidays. So things are improving. And these kids are happy to go back to school, and they're somewhat motivated. But there is challenges there. My own view, and it has been my view for a long time, and that is that the points race is actually probably deconstructing quality education. I completely subscribe to the principle that people should want to learn and learn for the right reasons. I would very much subscribe to an interview process and a continuous assessment process for children applying for university, and that's how it should be done. Now, technically, it could be construed as being not fair. Technically, it could be said that human interaction could create an unfairness about it. But I think overall, it would be a far more holistic approach. I know kids who are studying medicine, and they neither have the communication skills nor the humanity to be doing medicine. I know kids who are involved in science and other areas, and that'd be totally boring and certainly wouldn't have the creativity that would be necessary for that. I know kids doing law who got the points to do law because they were very mathematically orientated. But law is not about maths. So I think that the point system, in my view, is flawed. I won't say fundamentally flawed, but I will say flawed. And I think that there is a far better way of doing business. In that sense, I welcome this motion, and knowing the proposer, I think to Senator Mary-Louise proposed it and supported by Gillian and others, and knowing Mary-Louise's love of language and love of everything to do with education, and given her background in education, I think, you know, it's coming from a very genuine source. And it's very important that Shannon Aaron would debate and discuss and deliberate this particular aspect of education. In actual fact, it's one of the things we should be doing a lot more of. We should be looking at all aspects of education. We should be looking at training our young people to be ambassadors of culture, ambassadors of our language. I remember when I was in school, it was the teaching of the Irish language turned me off it for years. And my love of it has been, I suppose, reignited as a result of Senator Moran's daughter giving me grinds last year and the year before. But I can tell you that we have to fundamentally look at a change in attitude to education. We were known over the years as the country of saints and scholars and all of that. And certainly, you know, the whole notion of being scholars. Being scholars is not about the point system. It's about knowing who you are, knowing your history, wanting to learn, appreciating books, whether they be electronic books or whether they be ordinary books, wanting to open a book, not wanting to waste your day away twittering or being on Facebook, but actually spend the day learning and engaging and developing knowledge. Knowledge is powerful. It's not dangerous. Knowledge is what gives people freedom. Knowledge is what allows people be equal, foster equality. And education is probably the single biggest driver to get people out of poverty that we could possibly imagine. And every penny that's spent in education is well spent. So I welcome the motion. I welcome the debate here tonight. I'm delighted to have had the opportunity, and thank you, Cathaoirleach, for allowing me participate in it. And I hope that we will have many more debates like this, not just in this Senate, but in future Senates.
Thank you, Senator. Senator